Hello Virgo, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in and welcome to your 2025 Astroclock. Virgo, if you're new here, I'm Leila, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. And today we are doing our annual forecast. It's been my tradition since essentially when I started the channel, and I still want to do it because it's an amazing spread that is very unique and that is practical. The Astroclock, if you're new to this, is a big spread. It uses all 36 cards of the deck and we lay them out into 12 groups of 3 cards. The Lenormand deck is a 36 card deck, so it divides nicely into 12. So Virgo, welcome to your 2025. Let us get into what is ahead for you this year. I hope you're ready for this. I am, and let's see what is in store for you this year. Okay, Virgo, here is your Astroclock. As you can see, it's a big spread. We've got all the deck on the on the table, which means that we have all the cards. We have the challenging cards, the happy cards, the work cards, the people cards. All of it is in here. What makes your Astroclock unique is how they are organized and how they figure into the different months. So before we read, and you might have noticed that I start dealing out the cards at midnight, but actually I start reading at 1 o'clock, which is January, and then I go clockwise all the way up to December. And these are the month-to-month, the monthly forecasts. This is an overview, of course. When we get to the month, we are going to take the Astroclock cards and draw additional cards on top of them. Now, before I start doing the month-to-month Virgo, I like to orient myself around the clock. I like to get a bird's eye view, if you like, of it. I like to locate the positive cards, the challenging cards, the people cards. I like to see where the main or the more standout cards are. So between February and March, we have some very beautiful cards, the Star, Key, Moon, and Clover. We also have the flowers in May. And September is looking really bright, and this is looking like a big change here. We have the whip with the tower, we have the scythe, and we have the coffin. I think there's going to be a key theme here, or a main theme, in the last 3 months of the year. The people cards, we've got the man and dog, and also the woman. And so it looks like people are concentrated somewhere around the beginning of the year. We also find a relationship here in July. We've got potentially some change cards. Definitely towards the end of the year, we're seeing more sharper changes here. It sounds like we're building up to it. In terms of challenging cards, we have the clouds in April. Not very challenging, not a huge deal. We have the snake with the house and heart. I think this is potentially a difficult combination because this points to someone deceptive. We have the whip here in October. And with this combination, I'm not so sure how challenging it is as much as it's about letting go. And the scythe and coffin would have been challenging, but I think in their combinations here, they're sort of different. So they're actually absorbed by the nearby cards. And the fish is the card of money. We see it in December. Work, potentially, where's the moon and lily? Here's the lily. Oh, that's nice. With the flowers and child. And where's the moon? Can't see that. Here we go. Also potentially about work. Okay, so with this overview, so far this is looking like a standout part of the year. Let's go ahead and do January. So we start off with the man. We have the tree, man, and book. And this sounds like a new relationship because the book can be something or someone unknown. And it can also mean that this person is really reserved. And with the tree, I suggest, Virgo, that you give this person time to come through. So don't try to make them do something or get them to say something. Let them go, and hopefully they'll come around, which can be what happens in February. And also, it's a good time to take a step back and do your thing. So, don't be too invested in the other person. If they're not willing to come around, just let it go and do your thing. It's also possible, Virgo, that the tree and book can be something about learning, knowledge, writing, reading, teaching, these sorts of areas, and by extension, creativity, although, yeah, I'm not really seeing the creative part. So maybe this is about learning. Maybe you're learning from someone, maybe you're teaching someone. There can be that as well. Now, the star, bird, and dog is lovely for any relationship. The bird is a card of conversations, the dog is the friend, and the star is an all-around wish fulfillment card. So this is looking like a lovely conversation, wonderful news, positive feedback, good interaction with people. So in general, it can feel really fulfilling this way. Now, if the February cards build on January, the silence that we see in January is broken in February, and there is a conversation. So if they're connected for you, Virgo, it pays off to wait and to let it go, because it looks like they're going to come around. And you know, the months are not sharply demarked, so it's roughly January, roughly February, and so on. So, you know, so give or take around this time. Now, March, we have some lovely cards in March. These are 3 very bright cards. The Key and Clover especially, and the Moon is a soft and gentle card. It can be a card of work, invitations, honors, recognition, some kind of, you know, appreciation, and it also has an element of gradual unfolding through the phases of the Moon. The Key and Clover are success cards. It looks like a breakthrough. You could get the green light, the offer that you want, the job that you want, the opening that you want. In relationships, the Moon is nice. It's about attraction. So this is an all-around happy month here in March. Now, April, we have the Mountain with the Woman and Clover. So this too is a card of a combination of distance. The Mountain in relationships is often cold, and the clouds adds tension, possibly confusion around this person. Now, who this person is, Virgo, depends on you. It's usually someone who's pretty important to our affairs, but she could be a friend, family, colleague, anyone, you know, but the idea is that she has weight on our life. So we see her here in April, and we see her with the Mountain and clouds. So there can be issues with this person. There can be some misunderstanding or miscommunication. Well, actually, the clouds is not really about communication, but there is like some tension in the relationship. And also, she could be creating blockages, or perhaps it's coming from you, where you're not really feeling this person right now, and you're feeling, you know, sort of, you're not really wanting to reach out. So this can be a time when the relationship is not really fitting. It may be a result of, you know, this relationship here. It may be connected, it might not. Moving on to May, we have some really nice cards. We have the Flowers, which is a very happy and optimistic card, and we see it with the Lily and Child. This is nice because this could be an important new phase, an important so not just a thing, but like a significant new chapter or a new milestone moving into in your life. The Flowers is also really good for celebration. So maybe this is some kind of success and achievement that you're celebrating, and now you're able to turn the page. They're also great cards for health, well-being. There's lots of positive energy here. And it's certainly a nice contrast to what we see in the previous cards. So what is this new beginning here, Virgo? It's going to depend on your specifics. And also when we get to the forecast, the monthly forecast, we will discover more about this. But definitely a lovely month for celebration and happiness. Now June, tricky June. We have the Snake. The Snake is a deceptive card, especially with people. The Heart and House. These are bringing up the more emotional people side of things. So the house can represent home and family, it normally does, and the heart would represent your loved ones and people like that. But it can also represent another location in your life, another group, like you're the team on the job, some group that you're part of, a hobby that you participate in. You know, it depends. And the Snake is not great because it is typically backbiting, gossip, and mean people type of thing, and deception. So there's going to be probably some tension around this place. So just keep an eye out. Also, Virgo, if you are going into this space, or you're involved here, the Snake asks you to be discreet, and it asks you to keep things to yourself. So before you invest yourself in anyone, or go right in and get involved, like maybe take a step back, observe for a bit to get a feel for what it's like in there. And always keep in mind that some people could be like the Snake. Moving on to July, we have more relationships. The Ring, between the Bear and Road. This could be a really important relationship, but it could also be an important commitment. There can be something like a promotion. There can be more responsibilities, and you sort of have to live up to it. You know, the ring and the road suggests that you have to move forward in this path. So the bear really asks you to stay the course and also asks you to step up to this. Now the cards are generally neutral. We don't really see how positive or challenging this is. And of course, when we get to the monthly forecast, we'll draw more cards. So there's a significant involvement here that you have to live up to. What involvement? It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be something else. It's really flexible. The August cards, we have the Anchor with the Stork and Mouse. So that's an interesting triplet, actually. The Anchor and Stork are opposite. The Anchor sticks and the Stork moves. The Anchor stays with what it's doing. The Stork is all about movement and change. So it's clear here that you need to get unstuck from something, or you need to change up a habit or do things differently. So the Stork really asks for you to pick up and do changes. The Mouse, though, can be a bit challenging. And it's not very dramatic, but it tends to be a bit annoying, bumps and things like that. And I wonder, if the Mouse can mean that you're having a hard time making changes. So this could be part of the challenge for you this month. It's also a good idea to let go of bad habits. So, anything that is unhealthy or that wastes your time, your resources, or perhaps difficult people, clutter, things like that, it's a good idea to make changes here. And even if you have a bit of difficulty picking up with this, make an effort, Virgo, because it looks like it pays off. Moving on to September, we have the Sun, Rider, and Fox. And this is a lovely triplet because the Sun is one of the brightest cards of the deck. Now the Fox is sometimes challenging. It can be a deceptive type, a bit like the Snake, but not as toxic as the Snake. And it's also a card of jobs. So certainly with work, these are great cards. You could get a job, you could get some positive rewards, projects are moving forward lovely, and the Rider is great for being active and proactive and getting things done. So this can be a really nice combination for success. I suspect maybe that the Fox can represent people who are a bit envious. Normally the Snake is the card of envy, but the Fox can be, a bit like that. But like I said, great for jobs, great for progress, and also really great for being disciplined and getting things done. So a nice month for achievement and success. Now October, we have the Garden, Tower, and Whip. Now the Garden is a card of place, community, people, and environment. The Tower can also be that, but the type of place that the Tower represents tends to be like a corporation, a business building, places like that, something official, things like that. And the Whip is a card of challenges. So it's possible that it's possible that problems come up in this environment. Also, Virgo, the Tower is a card of the past. And when I see it with cards like the Whip, with the Scythe, and with the Child and Coffin, there is the idea of letting go of the past. So in here, it's about letting go of this place and this environment. So it sounds like now you could let go. I think it leads to some problems. I don't think this is the smoothest of transitions. But I guess maybe with your success here, with the changes that you were able to implement, you can now let go of something that had been possibly holding you back, or face up to some challenges. November, we have the Letter with the Scythe and Cross. This could be a big change. It could be some shocking news, and it can be something sudden. What the news is about, we don't really see from just 3 cards. And of course, when we get to the forecast, we'll read more about it. And the Cross can be something important, deeper. It has to do with your life path, your destiny, things like that. So there can be a big change, a big decision, possibly a sacrifice. But it sounds like this could be a big deal of a month with a major turning point. And it sort of aligns with the previous cards. So there's a release, another release, and we also have an ending here. We have the Ship, Fish, and Coffin. Now, I think this is the end of a job, the end of a business, the end of a project, the end of some venture that is related to your income or your practical activity. And we see it with the Coffin. So this could be the end of the road in this journey, Virgo. And it also connects with the previous cards, or it can. Like I saw from our bird's eye view, it looked like the last 3 months of the year have a significant change. And it's likely, Virgo, that these big changes, they don't happen just within a week or a month. It could take a whole quarter, for you to wrap things up and to make a really sharp line here. So whatever it is in your life that needs to wrap up and what you need to let go of, something significant, it sounds like it happens more towards the end of the year. So overall, Virgo, it's looking to me like a pretty even and balanced Astroclock. I'm not seeing, apart from these strong 3 months here, everything else is sort of pretty even. There isn't much drama in here. There isn't anything super, that stands out as much as these cards. It is looking bright here in the first 3 months. There's lots of lovely cards. First month of January is a bit quiet, but these cards are really bright. There can be maybe some tension with a person, but then May is great. June is tricky again. And then here, I think we start to build up towards the big changes that we see in the end of the year. There is a big responsibility here. Here, trying to pick yourself up to make changes. I think you achieve some successes, and probably this gives you a foundation for what happens towards the end of the year. So these are some pretty good cards. I normally see 2 to 3 challenging months in an Astroclock. And for your part, we have the whip in here, and we have the scythe and coffin. These can be challenging, but not necessarily. The whip is more challenging in and of itself. But again, Virgo, because of the tower and the garden, it can just mean that you are releasing a situation. The whip is a bit heavy-handed, so you might have to take a strong stand, but it could still be something that you do as opposed to something that happens to you. Does that make sense? So these are your cards for 2025, Virgo. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I look forward to your thoughts about this. If you had been building your vision for 2025, I'd love your thoughts about this Astroclock, so you can let me know how it lines up with your vision so far. Thank you for tuning in, Virgo. Very best of luck with 2025, and I hope you'll stick with me throughout the coming months. So we do the monthly forecasts, the weekly reading, and others as well. Very best of luck again. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself.